This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Thank you very much for tuning in wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, Pulse95Radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority. You're chilling at home watching us live on YouTube or even on Instagram as well, man. I can always rely on you guys to keep the spirits up high, and I promise I won't disappoint. Right, okay, on the show today, with the world's best players available, people are obviously distracted by sports. But during this period, a lot of transfers or speculation has been out there about some of the best players around the world moving around. We're going to be discussing that today. We take a look at some of the best players who are available to transfer. And if Messi isn't leaving Barcelona, what has he been promised? Is it Ronaldo? And yes, that's Cristiano Ronaldo. We're going to be talking about that with the president making a lot of promises. We also have Real Madrid, who are very interested in Haaland and Mbappe. What's going to happen, man? A lot of crazy is happening. And also, the Euro 2020s is obviously taking a lot of people's attention at the moment, and rightfully so. So who is going to progress in the next round? How is it going to look now when we're coming up to the last 2 days before the knockout stages? We'll run you through that as well. And also in local sports, we have a superstar, the first Emirati athlete from the People of Determination to qualify for Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. We love that. We love seeing people do things and also inspire us no matter what we are looking like or what injuries we have. It's always good to see people kind of give us that extra push. So I'm going to do that with you on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Right, okay, plenty to get stuck into right now. I got a call yesterday from Big Hass and Anna Schofield when they were talking about the Euros. So let me clarify a couple of things for you. Now, with the Euros and the way it's shaping up, there are the first and second place that go through, but out of the 6 third place teams, 4 are going to be selected for the next round. Now, as we've learnt so far in the Euros, finishing first does not necessarily mean you get to face a lesser team. What it does mean is you're on one side of the bracket when it comes down to scheduling the final 16. So if we look at it right now, we've got England, who yesterday secured the place in their group by finishing first, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be playing an easy opposition, because they could face Germany next in the final 16. Now tonight, everyone is buzzing because Germany meet Hungary and France meet Portugal. Now, the way the tournament started and Germany losing, people thought that with France beating Germany, Germany were done. Now, Germany surprised the world by beating Portugal 4-2, and in doing so now face Hungary in the final round, which looks like they will be finishing top of their group. Now, Hungary have held strong for most of the game, but at the end of the day, even with the home crowd and even with the support, they still just fell short. So Germany meet Hungary tonight and France meet Portugal. Now, what could happen there is if there's a draw in that game, then all of a sudden Germany finish first, France finish second, and Portugal finish third. What does that mean, you're asking? Let me tell you what that means. That basically means that when you look at the layout for the championship, the Euro predictor that I did, I actually got a couple horribly wrong, as Scotland yesterday lost to Croatia. They put the performance of a lifetime against England. Billy Gilmore gets COVID, and then all of a sudden they lose 3-1. I'm so disappointed for the Scots. I really want them to do well, actually. But now, how does this look for the remainder? Now, if Portugal finish third and draw tonight, they will meet Belgium in the next round. So see, finishing third, you can understand why they'd meet a powerhouse. However, Germany finishing first in their group is such an incentive because they get to face Switzerland. Italy get to face Austria. Croatia, even though they just scraped the line yesterday and finished second, they get to face Slovakia. While England, who have won the group, guess who they face? England face France if France finish second. So you see what I mean? England finished first, France finished second, and yet England could face France. If England had finished second, they would have played Holland. Are you with me so far? A lot to take on, I know, but I kind of run these things in my head, and this is how it's going to look. So let's say if you take one team like England right now, with all the criticism that they got for not playing well and everything, keeping a clean sheet and also winning 2 games out of 3, if you think about it, England doing all that, they still get to face France, which most probably on paper with the strongest squad in the tournament will get eliminated. Now that I've kind of explained the breakdown of whether you finish first, second, or even third, how it's going to look, let me ask you the question. And we're going to try and run through this quite quickly because we've got quite a few things to cover today. Belgium play Portugal. Can we agree that Portugal might win or Belgium might win? That's a tricky tie. So the winner between Belgium and Portugal faces the winner between Italy and Austria. So let's make it easy for you and say, and sorry if there's any Austrian fans out there, let's say Italy face the winner between Belgium and Portugal. So who would you have forward there? In the other group, Germany will face Switzerland and Croatia will face Slovakia. So is it safe to say that Germany will face Italy or Portugal in the quarter-finals? Okay, the winner of that, which I'm now assuming between Portugal and Germany, because I said that Portugal were my favorites to win it. I know they got battered by Germany the other day, but I kind of have a feeling for Portugal. So Portugal versus Germany to get to that side of the group. On the other side, here's where it gets a bit interesting. Wales, Denmark. I think Denmark are going to be really hard to beat this time. You know, they've just had this resurgence and they've had the support of the world following Christian Eriksen's heart attack has been immense. So I think that Denmark will beat Wales and face Netherlands in the quarter-finals. Now, on the other side, you have England versus France. I would love to say England are going to win, but let's face it. What are the chances of England beating France? Hey, listen, with the home crowd, you never know. You never know, except there's Kante. And Kante is just Kante, man. He's just unbelievable. So England versus France, shall we say France go through? Yeah, France go through? Yeah, okay. So France go through, and the winner between England and France plays the winner between Sweden and Ukraine. See how frustrating this gets now. When you look at the draw, it's not that great to finish first. So France will play, I would think, Ukraine. Holland will play Denmark. And then you will have a France-Holland. We're all assuming this, of course. France-Holland semi-final. Portugal-Germany semi-final. And in the final, I don't know if you guys have a different one, but text me on 4215 Ittasalat or do if you have a different semi-final and final planned. Who would you put in the semi-finals and final from the Euro 2020 if I gave you the 4 options? Portugal, Germany, France, and Holland. Who's going to win it? Let me know. 4215 Ittasalat or slide into my DMs. I'll be right back after the break. Enjoy this, folks.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
That's right. Let's get ready to rumble. The show is up, flying and kicking here in Pulse 95 radio studio, making it happen. And of course, we had our lovely Omnia in the background giving me grief. At least she was nice. At least she tapped the other shoulder when she was mad. Anyway, we have a lot of things going on at the moment now in the world of sport and health and fitness. We're talking more about the health and fitness later on, but for now, a lot of people are talking about the transfer summer, and everyone is wondering where these big players are going to end up. Now, the one that got me the most, right, and I had to share this with you guys. Can we actually imagine Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi on the same team? A lot of you are shaking your head already. And I was one of those people. And then I looked at their president, Juan Laporte, who is desperate to try and bring Barcelona back to the top of the world following the drama of the European Super League and following the criticism that the club has taken since the re-election, the change of president, Messi's saga, whether he's going to stay or leave, how are we going to get him to stay? His friend Neymar can't join anymore. His friend Suarez had to leave. So how do we create a media frenzy that will attract more attention and more sales that can elevate Barcelona? They signed Kun Aguero, they signed Depay, and apparently the Barcelona president is looking at signing Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, even though the value might not be that high, However, what will be high is the media craze that's going to happen if Cristiano Ronaldo does sign for Barcelona. Now, across the country in Spain, Real Madrid are making headlines for being linked with two forwards, not one, but two superstar forwards in Kylian Mbappe and Haaland. Yes, thank you for the applause. A lot of people thinking, what is going on in the world? But right now, apparently, the Haaland deal has been agreed, but the fee hasn't. Sometimes you hear that, you wonder, how is that possible? Well, that's if the agent, who is the player's father, and the club come to an agreement. All that has to happen after that is the clubs have to agree on a fee. Now, Dortmund will sell for the right price, so we know that's not crazy to think about. But Kylian Mbappe has actually told PSG he wants to leave this summer. Now, if rumours are to be believed, that already puts him on the market for Real Madrid, even without Zinedine Zidane. Now, those two clubs want to bring themselves back on to the top of the world when it comes to European football. And unfortunately, they haven't been doing that recently, but now is the time to get them back on track. With Haaland and Madrid, apparently agreeing, they've released Sergio Ramos, who is the topic of conversation on where he's going to go next, which frees up wages. You see where I'm going with this? If he leaves Real Madrid, which he has left already, and he said that they offered him a 1 year, he wanted a 2 year, and before he even knew, the deal was taken off the table. So now this creates this drama. Well, why have they done this? What are they freeing up for? What superstar are they bringing in, or superstars are they bringing in? If they know that Cristiano Ronaldo is not returning back to Real Madrid, where is he going following Juventus slipping up this year in Serie A? So now that starts to put in perspective with Ramos wanting to go to Manchester United. Yes, spicy, Manchester United. That means that United are on the radar for a defender. Now, we all know that they've wanted some of the best defenders in the world and someone to support Harry Maguire. And in doing so, that creates that solidarity that they've been looking for to win or challenge for a championship. Nadine, I know you'll be enjoying this part. But if Ramos does come into Maguire, is he too similar to Maguire in his defending? And will they be hurt on the counter-attack if you face teams that are very quick in the transition? So there already is what we're talking about. And speaking about transition, we all know that Manchester City have won the league. They may have lost out on the Champions League, but apparently 100 million was rejected for Harry Kane plus players. Now, amongst those players, it's been rumoured to be Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling, and Riyad Mahrez. But again, if you're those players and you don't want to go, that deal breaks down. So City are desperate to get a striker in. Harry Kane has been identified as their target. They've put the first bid in, but it has been rejected. So what is happening in the world of transfers? United have apparently bidded 76 million for Jadon Sancho, which has been rejected. And Dortmund are pretty hard on sticking to who they want to have. If you're a Manchester United fan right now, who is going to come in and improve your club? Is it going to be another superstar winger? Is defender a priority? Or how about even a holding midfielder? Now, a lot of people have been talking about, Kane going to United, Haaland going to United, Jadon Sancho going to United. But I wonder if even with Ramos being free, yes, they'll have to pay for his wages and his sign-on package, but I wonder if him being free will be an easy one to kind of fill in the stopgap for now, with Luke Shaw having the season of his life and Wan-Bissaka being there for at least 5 to 6 years. That then adds, what are they missing? And will that stunt or stop Greenwood from developing? So you see there's a lot of factors here, but people that I've been very surprised that no one's really spoken about transfer-wise is actually Wilfred Ndidi or Bellingham. Jude Bellingham as well. He's been outstanding, the 17-year-old. He should be 18 in a couple of days, actually. But if he went to United and you put him up next to, Bruno Fernandes and Pogba, what a midfield that would be. Wilfred Ndidi, probably second to Kante on anticipation, interception, and his tackles made all over the pitch. I look at those kind of players and I think those are the ones I'd worry about. Declan Rice, another one who knows where to play, has been outstanding for West Ham. Could he go in and slot in at Manchester United? Let me know, is your club after the right player? And if so, who would you have on your club? 4215 Itasalat or send into my DMs at Omar Al Duri. And I'll be right back after the break. Umnia sent the coffee in already, so I'm grateful. Right, let's do this. I'll be right back. Enjoy.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
Salam, welcome back to the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international, local. Thank you very much for locking in on the waves on 95 FM. If you're just tuning in, you missed the Euro 2020 start to this show, which had a feel of who's going to be in the quarters, who's going to be in the semis, who's going to be in the final, what's going on with everything, and whether if you finished first in your group actually is an advantage for you or disadvantage. And as we found out with England, it's clearly a disadvantage when the third place team is going to face a much easier tie than England. Right, in the second episode, we spoke about the transfer that's happening. Mbappe to Real Madrid, Haaland to Real Madrid, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United, Sergio Ramos maybe to Manchester United, or even Cristiano Ronaldo to Barcelona. Wow, that looked very interesting. What's up, Boss in Dubai and Bilal? What's up, Peaky Blinder? Everyone is commenting on the Instagram live at the moment now, making fun out of me in the studio. If you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see why they're making fun out of me right here. Okay, great. Let's talk about local sports. UAE shooter Ayesha Al Muhairi qualifies for Tokyo Paralympic Games. Man, I love seeing things like this. This is the stuff that actually gets me through my day. When I'm thinking, yeah, Omar, you know what? It's going to be a tough day today. I look over and I just see people making a real difference, not just in sports, but in health and fitness, and making us, lifting us in that way. Ayesha Al Muhairi becomes the first Emirati athlete from People of Determination to qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. And how people like Ayesha are the real leaders and motivation out there. Loved reading this article here, showing some fantastic things for Ayesha Al Muhairi. She's a member of the shooting club, made history by becoming the first Emirati athlete from People of Determination to qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games, which is great. She set a new record of 828 to 6 during her participation at the World Cup Shooting Championship in Peru. Al Muhairi, who scored with distinction 71 days before the Games in Tokyo, emphasized that women's sports in the UAE is on the right track and has taken steady steps to achieve aspired ambitions. So this is what's cool about this, hearing this kind of news, reading this kind of news is really cool. Why? Because, we even had Dareen Barber, who had a World Guinness Book of Records out there for a wall sit, which is fantastic. You see all these people that have, their own personal battles, their own challenges, making things happen. And then it kind of motivates normal people like myself to say, you know what, Omar, you're going to be all right. You might be in a sling right now. You might be being made fun of in the studio, which is fine. But we're having a good time. We're staying positive. We're keeping the energy up. And I kind of like seeing articles like this because even with Ayesha Al Muhairi, she dedicated the victory to the leadership and people of the UAE, as well as every Emirati woman, and she thanked the shooting club for creating a favorable environment for her success, adding that her participation at the Games is a source of pride for her, and she's only had the career for 18 months. Wow, fantastic. Really, really cool to see that, actually. I love, like I said, I love seeing things like that. It helps us, it keeps us motivated. It tells us, that nothing is impossible. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering, how can you catch this fantastic show? Head over to our YouTube, Pulse 95 Radio, and the Halftime Show is all up in that business with some great content. We cover things like mental health, gut health, and how an in-depth look behind the scenes in the locker room, feel to sports and fitness. Okay, cool. Let's take a quick break. I got Blessings playing up. How about that for a tune on a day like this today? Omnia, I know you're listening. Enjoy this tune, Blessings Remix, and I'll be right back.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Hope you're having a blessed day, and thank you very much for spending the hour with me here in the heart of Sharjah on Pulse 95 Radio. Okay, right, you guys have been keeping me company during the break. Shout out to Davis and Masood as well, and Maria will be making it happen and keeping me entertained during the interval. Right, okay, so if you're just catching the show, there's a couple things we talked about today. We talked about Euro 2020, and if you finish first in your group and you get a nice record and everything's happening great, it might not be actually good for you when it comes down to the knockout stages. Why? As we learned with England, they could possibly face, France, Germany, or even Portugal if things go the way they go. And however, the people who finished second, which was Croatia, if we look at the Euro predictor that I have up here, Croatia look like they're going to face Slovakia. So you think about it and you see that and you think, wow, these things, the way they pan themselves out sometimes is not always the greatest thing. Hold on, let's see this question. Why do you think Italy are doing so well? Very good question. I think Italy are doing so well because they've got a good harmony amongst their squad. I think they've got the right blend between experience at the back and youth and athleticism more further up front. I also think it's because of Mancini. Now, a lot of people have been saying, but he wasn't that. He was successful. He's been very successful. And for those that don't know, Mancini was part of the 1990 Italia World Cup, which he did not participate for a single minute in the tournament despite being there with the team. Why is that relevant? It's relevant because he knows how to keep the squad happy. He knows how to keep them involved. You saw him the other day bring on a goalkeeper for 1 minute just to make an appearance at the Euros. It also shows that he has done it all before. He's been there as a player. He's been there as a coach. He's won the league before with Manchester City, the Premier League, and he's been successful. And all these things as a coach and as a manager count so much for managing personalities. I always say that coaching, as much as there is the technical side of things, there's also the human side of things, the way you behave, the way you assess behavior. And I think that's why Italy are doing so well. Will they last is the question. Now, the way they've finished their group, they look like they'll be meeting Austria next. However, the winner between Belgium and Portugal, based on, of course, my predictor, as I put here on the Euro 2020 screen, if Belgium and Portugal face each other in the round of 16, the winner of that faces Italy or Austria. So that means Italy have secured themselves a nice position now to be able to play according to Austria's strengths and then face a different opposition when they meet the winner between Belgium and Portugal. So that's how it's looking like on that side, to answer your question. But yeah, very interesting that this is becoming a tournament of squads, decisions, and managers and coaches. How easy is it to write people off? You see, it's so amazing. I spend a lot of time listening to radio, of course, Pulse 95 Radio, but also different radio channels around the world, and I hear the fans talking about their teams or their clubs and how quick they could be to jump on the bandwagon. One day, it's awful, they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that. Next day, amazing, they finished first. And then on the other hand, you see fans saying, we're going to win it. Portugal, so France beat Germany and everyone's saying France are going to win it. Then France do with Hungary, and all of a sudden Germany face Hungary tonight, and Germany might win their group, which means France or Portugal finish second or third. That affects the whole tournament, and that's why even Big Hass and Anna Schofield called me yesterday while they were live on Yalla Home, asking me about my ideas on whether finishing third qualifies. Yeah, it's a new format at the moment, and that's how it's going to look like. So I have it here as my semi-finals. Portugal, Germany, France and Netherlands to be in my semi-final. Do you agree with that? Text me on 4215 Itasalat or slide into my DMs, and I'll actually, you know what I'll do? I'll share my tournament predictor for the Euro 2020 on my Instagram, and let's see how many of you agree with it, or if you think there's going to be any surprises. So far, the people that said the surprises and the dark horses were going to stand out haven't really done it. And I'm talking about people like Turkey. I actually thought, and this was just, again, me being me, I thought Scotland would beat or even get a result against Croatia yesterday. And that was really, really bad. I felt Scotland fought like lions against England, and they only got a draw. But I thought, you know what, with that team, the structure, the spirit, I thought, yeah, that's going to be great. And they lose to Croatia 3-1. And that's how quick the tournament can change. And now Croatia finished second in the group, which is insane because everyone thought Croatia were dead and buried. But yeah, that we are reaching full time on the halftime show. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you very much for keeping company. Thank you for all the messages as well. You guys have been fantastic. Coming up next is the afternoon karak with Ayesha Al Muhairi and Mikael Atiya. But I will see you back again here on Saturday, 3 to 4, on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95. Blessings and love. I'm out.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.